Hello and welcome to the Full Force Weekly, proudly brought to you by Battle Action Force, the Treasury Editions. I am your host, Christopher McLeod AKA Diagnostic 80. In this episode, I bring you all the news from the past week in the world of G.I. Joe. So what is it, me? It's the Full Force Weekly, hopefully, today. Here we go. Trying it again. Fingers crossed. If I cut out now, that would be perfect, wouldn't it? Okay. Lots of technical issues. Sorry about yesterday. I sat here waiting for the connection to, to be to restore and all that kind of stuff. Go through the, the reboot process. Sat here for an hour, 1 hour, and I'm like, ain't happening, is it? So if you thought I just left and didn't want to say bye or anything, no, it was just that I got cut off, and then despite our best efforts, couldn't get the internet to kick in again. So all seems well at the moment. That could change. I wanted to try and get through the weekly as whenever I got the opportunity. So sorry for not posting a time like this morning or anything. So I'm just going to go for it. And apologies if you missed the episode and you prefer to see it live. My bad. Next week, hopefully, we'll be back to normal, but there will be a rearranged time, which I will let you know of in the week. So as soon as I've figured that out, whatever makes the most sense is the time, and then that's when we'll be doing it next weekend. Okay. So anyway, let's try. I mean, I'm going to rinse through a lot of the stuff we covered yesterday, but I have removed that video, so I do kind of have to cover it again. So I think rather than just dilly-dallying over everything, I should get right stuck into it. So we'll start with some comic news. If you cast your minds back, you'll remember exactly what it was. Chris G says, I'm the guy cable companies refer customers to fix these kind of things. Yeah, that would be great. I have, we have been in contact with internet service provider, and they haven't really been that helpful, other than to say it's working our end. Well, great, that's awesome. Doesn't I can't see where you've been dropped out. Yeah, it just randomly drops out in the most annoying times, usually when I'm streaming, and not always actually. We've had so many dropouts, it's been really annoying. Anyway, oh, don't say that, Max, goodness me. Anyway, I'm gonna get going with this. Skybound updates. What do we know about whatever came out of SDCC and a little bit afterwards? We know that the panel during the SDCC panel on day 2, I think it was, or 3, whatever it was, they got this Energon Universe issue 1 ashcan, which shows a sneak peek of what's next in store for Transformers, G.I. Joe, and Void Rivals. Very jealous, want to see that next. Dreadnought War is beginning in G.I. Joe issue 13, courtesy of Joshua Williamson, Tom Riley, and Jordi Belair. They are going to be basically delving into this new kind of sort of like story arc, effectively, that obviously includes the Dreadnoks, and is going to be effectively a big on hardcore war. Oh, I had to be fortunate. I had to be lucky there. Lucky? I had to be careful there. Anyway, and all I will say about this is that I love this sort of Mad Max vibe they've got going on with the Dreadnought War. Obviously, Mad Max comes hand in hand, Kitty said, with the Dreadnoks anyway. It's kind of like their main inspiration, but I love the fact that that's what we're seeing sort of here. This sort of like desert waste, kind of like almost like desert landscape, long like for miles and miles, explosions, motorcycles, hell, even the possibility of some cool vehicles in the classified series like the Dreadnought cycle, which we see to the left, front and left, not exactly front and center. And then the Road Pig image just reminded me of that issue in European Missions, aka Action Force Monthly, which obviously we got in the UK and you guys got reprinted in the US, where Outback and Psych Out are in Australia, and Psych Out is giving Outback a psych evaluation, and they bump into the Dreadnoks, and Road Pig has a huge sort of like, think of it as like a zombie apocalypse truck with spikes and stuff all over it called Razorback. In fact, I kind of wish I'd added it to this now after I spoke about it yesterday. In any case, Yeah, there you go. That's that. So this November, and they're going to be fortnightly per through November and December, these issues. So we're going to get them thick and fast, which is great. The more the merrier for me. And obviously, if we're getting Skybound issues like real, regular like that, then that's awesome. Then also joining the Energon universe is Shooter. She will be basically teaming up with Night Force. Of course, Shooter is in the Night Force, courtesy of the Classified series already. Along with, at the moment, in Energon universe, Flint J and the recently acquired Beachhead. So, yeah. Bryce says, "Uh-oh, what's happened? Have I locked up again? Have you lost me?" Hopefully not. But yeah, and so with this Shooter introduction, we've got a bunch of really cool covers as well, which is pretty dope. We've got cover A by Tom Riley, which is a little bit like I kind of want to know what's going on. I'm really confused, and I think we'll know more when the actual issue comes out. What is going on with Shooter there? Just holding onto a bunch of ammo belts, so weird. And of course, yeah, Flint J and Beachhead in the background there, sort of on that blueprint sort of blue and white kind of like print. Anyway, we also get some lovely covers from Andrea Milana, cover B, which is this beautiful sort of like sniper shot in the trees. Very awesome. I love this one a lot. But by far my favorite is cover C, this 1:10 connecting cover by Alan Quard. This is amazing. And it is the classic trope of a file that is being currently looked at on a desk, with lots of stuff all over the place. There's a grenade there, which is fun. A couple of shells, almost like maybe this is more like not necessarily like a like an office sort of desk kind of thing, but maybe more like the staging area. They're in like a safe house getting ready to, loading up, getting ready. And obviously they've quickly gone over the files again, looked at the images inside and all that kind of stuff. So this is slightly different to the desk trope, although it is the same sort of situation, isn't it? And I do want to know how many times this has been utilized in GI Joe alone, because obviously it's a trope that's been utilized in comics so many times. The sort of the file, the confidential file contents on a desk, strewn around a little bit. I kind of want to see, definitely want to see some like a visual checklist of all the times that's happened in GI Joe, at least. It'd be ridiculous if you tried to look at it in general with comics, because it would be so many times. She's obviously jumping rope with rock and roll using M60 ammo belts. I thought that was clear. Thank you, Bad Wolf Media. She's playing skippy jumpy things with ammo belts. Amazing. And then we have these covers. Cover D by Stephen Epting. Classic explosion background, this time with Night Force Flint. And when I say Night Force Flint, I mean the Night Force Flint from the Energon universe, because this by no means has any bearing on what Flint looks like in Night Force. In the past, he had a very similar deco to the current classified Beachhead Night Force figure, which has been out for pre-order already now with Quick Kick. I wonder if we'll see Quick Kick join. That'd be kind of fun, wouldn't it? But we'll have to see how Night Force evolves. But at the moment, they're this sort of like X-Force kind of thing, isn't it? It's like the X-Men's X-Force in a way. GI Joe Night Force is to Night Force to GI Joe is what X-Force is to X-Men, and I like that kind of thought. They're kind of like off the books. Although, how on the books is GI Joe? That's what I want to know. Is like, at what point does it become like ridiculous? The stuff that not even GI Joe can take credit for. But anyway, really excited for this storyline too. The fact that Shooter is in Darklonia, she's in a situation where I don't know if is captured or if she's on some sort of mission in Darklonia. I can't remember what the synopsis actually said. I think it was like holed up in Darklonia, but it sounds like she's maybe imprisoned. So they're going to kind of break her out. So we're going to get to see Darklon again. The last time we saw Darklon was in issue 5, I think, of Destro, the miniseries, which that was pretty cool. So we'll get to see Darklon again for sure. Yeah. Yeah, this cover sorry, by David Finch, Sandra Hope, and Adriano Lucas is very awesome as well. That's a 1 in 50, and that again is probably up there as one of my favorites out of this group of issues. But I would say for me, it definitely goes the desk cover C. I think this cover E and cover B with the sniper in the trees are very close together. Then you get the cover D. I love Flint anyway, but like then you get cover D, and then I'd probably say cover A. It's all right, but it's not as I think it's not as like impactful as some of the other covers, for sure. Anyway, that is Nightfall Shooter. Also, to let you guys know that Tom Riley is now exclusive to Skybound. That was announced at SDCC. I did talk about it at the time, of course, on the recap, but he will be returning to G.I. Joe with issue 13 in November to kick off the Dreadnought War. So that Shooter Night Force little kind of mini side quest is a one-issue scenario by the sounds of it before the Dreadnought War starts kicking into full gear. Very excited. Tac says, I'd like a Night Force classified Starduster. I'm with you on that, actually, Tac. I absolutely love the classified Starduster. Chris, have a word in Lenny's ear if you can. Like I have any impact whatsoever. And until all the European Tiger Force come out, and then all of the Palatoy stuff appears, none of the comments I've made will clearly have made any impact. Chris G says Darkline won't be so pretty this time. Very possibly. Anyway, how on the books is G.I. Joe, says Bad Wolf Media. That sounds like a job for Hector Ramirez and the crew of 20 Questions. Oh, come on. He shows up in the Cold Slither comic, which I'm really excited to read now seeing like that kind of preview for it. Ryan Daly says Steve Epting and David Finch are fairly big name artists. Getting them for these covers is a decent flex. I mean, Skybound is doing amazingly well with the Joe, Transformers, and Void Rivals issues. The fact that this issue already, good segue, Ryan, thank you. G.I. Joe issue 7 is now in its second printing. That was available again just this week gone, the Wednesday gone. But again, like they are doing crazy numbers on these issues. It's incredible. And we get another cover here. So they got, obviously the second printing gets another cover, but it also got this beautiful, well, hang on, that cover is Jason Howard. And again, very nice, kind of very clean, sort of like a kind of almost like the kind of, this is what I'd expect if they were to do sort of like your classic Action Force weekly bio pages or your battle order of battle sort of, bio pages, kind of like a poster. Yes, Blitz. So you've got this kind of very clean image of the character. Beachhead rocking what I'm assuming is the Energon Universe version of him in Night Force gear, which is, pretty close to what he kind of rocks other than dark pants, really. And obviously, yeah, because I think everything else is pretty much there, isn't it? The green is still there. He just loses the camo on his pants, which is cool. Again, like they can do whatever they want with their Night Force sort of aesthetic, but it's certainly not the one that's coming out in Classified. And how I bet that would have absolutely destroyed the colorists in this to do that deco on multiple pages. Could you imagine him and Flint rocking the kind of like the gingham shirts and then like the digital camo pants? I mean, they would have been like, I'm never doing this again. Bias, not a fan of Stardust. Oh, I love Starduster. I think that Starduster figure is so good. Night Force Starduster would have a Starfield deco, says Jeffrey, right? Yes, that sounds amazing. Max says Hector Ramirez writing the Q&A at the end of comics is needed and would be hilarious. I like that idea. Anyway, so yeah, this is very much a kind of bio looking kind of cover with like that, the logo in the background shooting past, the Classified logo, I should say, the star with stripes. But then also we get a full art variant by Nicholas Draper Ivy. This is limited to 240 units and is very nice indeed. This, I think we were about here when I cut out last time, so fingers crossed it doesn't happen again. But we do get this lovely cover, and it's a full art cover as well. So I don't think you have any logos or anything like that. I believe it's just like this, or maybe there's the GI. Actually, I think it is just like this, the cover, which is really cool. And again, very nice indeed, showing Beachhead peering around a corner, and a light has come on. It's like, oh, it's kind of very Metal Gear Solid round the corner of a box sort of thing going on here. I like it very much. So that's again 2, and I say 2. There's probably another like 10 covers that we haven't even like begun to dig into. Mark from Talking Joe would have to chime in for that. But anyway, this is all I'm aware of at the moment. 240 is a real random number, says Pass. I wonder if there's a reason for that. I don't know what it is, though. Someone might. Mark will probably know. Anyway, I believe that's everything for Le Comics, which is French for the comics. That's a joke, by the way. You don't have to, say anything about that. Let's get moving into, I believe we're talking M.A.S.K next, so let's do it. I had an awful time in the background there, switching some images around. Oh, you make one little like mistake in the background, and then you're like racing to try and get it ready for when the bumper finishes. I don't know why I do this to myself. I really don't. Anyway, information for M.A.S.K is we've got 40th anniversary, and we've got a bit of Wave 2 to talk about, which I didn't somehow cover on my SDCC recap for day 3. Or any day, really. So I apologize for not talking about the Wave 2 teas, which I did post about on all the socials. I just didn't mention it when it came to the week, or like the recap from last week. So we can talk about it now. But anyway, 40th anniversary. Now all of that wave, as well as the Rhino, are getting this black and gold deco. And I will add that there is, what I do like about this, because obviously I have said it's a bit like, I don't really get it. Like it's kind of like that premium feel, a little bit sort of like Transformers vibe, where they used to have, sort of premium gold, things like that kind of hobby. I forget what it is now. What is it? Something hobby or hobby something for all the gold ones. I've gone blank on that. Sorry, you'll have to. Any Transformers fans in the comments, if the Mapes are watching, they'll be very disappointed with me because they have a few of those. I forget the name of it though, but the whatever it may be, the gold repaints they would do, and like with this, I'm not really sure how it really translates, other than one specific instance on here where it does make some sense, where they've done the kind of homage for Miles Mayhem, which we'll get to in a second. I didn't put the image in though, which is annoying, and that is on me. My apologies. Let me quick. I'm not going to put it on now, but I am going to just get the information up. So, the 98 version of it's Miles Mayhem and Matt Tracker. It's that like Laser Command, I think it's called. Yeah, I think it's Laser Command. And basically, it's this Miles Mayhem, right, with the red pants. But he's got the black and gold going on. So he kind of fits the theme, and they gave him the red pants, which is amazing. I should just, move over to that eventually. But I'm very excited to talk about that, because at least we're getting a cute little Laser Command sort of nod within this 40th anniversary thing. So it's not just everyone's getting a black and gold thing, which has never really been seen before in M.A.S.K, but we do get some of that very cool, tiny little homage, boink, of Miles Mayhem, which again, like I said, is giving him the red pants, and the black and gold jacket, which he had in that 98 Laser Command kind of 2-pack. I say 2-pack, it's like a big set basically, with a cardboard box and a Jeep that shoots a laser at, and it explodes, and yeah, the deal. So we're getting the whole run again done in this black and gold, and like I said, the one thing about this that I really like, helmet as well, because the helmet was red originally. The helmet was red and black originally, as you can see there. Look, from that Laser Command, but obviously on here it's kind of red and gold. But again, I just like the slight homage there that's been thrown in there, and definitely it's been done on purpose, because everyone else is black and gold. except Miles Mayhem, who gets that homage. So there is a real, I don't know, there's something really cool about that, and that's what makes it that's what makes it worth it to me. That one thing they've done. What I think would have been great here, and hear me out, is if they'd done that with all of the characters that have got alternate decos in, you know, European sort of exclusives, and I would say South American as well, because some of those are all over the place. I think it would have been really cool for them to all have, you know, something going on that's an homage to another figure release, and maybe the vehicles could have just been black and gold. But I get that they want to kind of combine it and make it all sort of make sense, and Miles Mayhem just makes sense to have that extra bit in there, and the fact that they've got the red canopy as well on Switchblade. I'm going to call it Switchblade no matter what anyone says. On the high-tech helicopter, then again, it ties it in nicely with his pants and helmet, Kitty said. In any case, I really like that. And it's funny how that tiny little homage, because I'm a sucker for like a little homage, like a little vintage homage here or there. I'm a sucker for it, clearly. And it has completely changed my mind on this entire idea. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Let's just do 40th anniversary for everything, so that we can get one of the figures in the entire wave get like an homage. Anyway, that is that. So there you go. That is the 40th anniversary, and we're all getting black and golds. You get a black and gold, you get a black and gold, and Miles Mayhem gets some very cool maroon pants and helmet to go along with it. So yeah, that is the 40th anniversary element of M.A.S.K. Now, as well as, oh, and also I should say, these will all be available for pre-order on the 5th of August. So in 2 days' time, that would be Tuesday. Tuesday, innit? They'll be available at theloyalsubjects.com. So yeah, there you go. Yeah, you get the whole bundle that way. Right then, moving on to the Wave 2 sneak peek that, again, I completely forgot to talk about on the recap, and was almost, no, it was ready and locked in for yesterday. So I'm only a day late on finally getting there. Well, a week late. You know what I'm talking about. So this was revealed as the Wave 2 sneak peek M.A.S.K vehicle assortment, including Hondo McLean and Hurricane, and what's his name, Cliff Dagger and Jackhammer for Wave 2, which are two absolute bangers to get into the line as well at this point. And I will say that I had Jackhammer as a kid, and it was one of my favorite vehicles. I loved it so much. Never had Hurricane, but I do have it now. I've got it loose unboxed, but as a kid, never had it. And it was one of those ones I wanted so bad. I wanted the Hondo McLean figure. I wanted the cool helmet that was just on the top. I wanted that figure so bad. And so like, this is one of those ones where I'm kind of like, oh, I kind of like these. I don't think we're going to get, obviously we're not going to get 40th anniversary for Wave 2, because obviously it'd be the 41st anniversary at that point. So I think we're safe going into these vehicles. I think we're safe that we're only going to get these in these decos, or something else that isn't black and gold. I mean, what would the point be of doing a black and gold Jackhammer? It would effectively just be the same but with gold on it. So I don't see that being, I don't see that being worth doing. But any case, Jason says, any chance we see Matt Tracker in G.I. Joe Classified? Possible. I think it's really possible, especially when the fact we've seen him in the Energon universe recently as well. So I think it's very possible indeed. Bias says, much prefer Hondo's original detonator mask that came with Firecracker to the one for Hurricane. Yeah, that's a good point, actually. That is a good point. Because obviously he did come with Firecracker originally, didn't he? Hurricane it's funny because like that whole wave was really interesting, because you had the intro was very Hurricane focused, wasn't it? Yeah, it was odd. That it was really odd that it was a little bit of an anomaly there. But you're right. Yeah, he did. He came with Firecracker. Absolutely. Tac Tac says, Chris, do you think the success of M.A.S.K with Law subjects has got Hasbro considering masking 6-inch at some point? Probably not a whole M.A.S.K line, Tac Tac, but probably, like I said before, maybe we'll see some characters show up in the classified series, or maybe even O-Ring. I don't know. But I don't think necessarily we're going to see a whole line of 6-inch M.A.S.K figures from Hasbro necessarily. I can't see that really happening. But I can see them popping up in classified, for example. But that doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. That just means I don't think it will. Like, that's just my personal opinion. Yeah, the Firecracker came with Hondo as well. Absolutely did. But what I mean is, like, the fact that one of the reasons I didn't have Hurricane was because it, like, I just never saw it. It wasn't available in that first wave, etc., etc. Hasbro doing M.A.S.K O-Ring crossovers with the Transformers would be heaven, says Pass. I could see Super 7 doing an O-Ring M.A.S.K, you know. I wouldn't surprise me. Hella Geek says, Chris, did you see the awesome Matt Tracker cosplay that Ace from Ramen Toy wore to SDCC? I did see that, Hella Geek. That helmet's really cool as well. Although every time I see those kind of things, I think, is there going to be another C&D? Probably. Bias says 6-inch proper M.A.S.K vehicles would be expensive. Oh, of course they would. That's why I don't think we're looking at a M.A.S.K line per se. I think we'd be looking at the odd figure showing up in classified, because yeah, a line of 6-inch with vehicles would be crazy pants. Chris, will Hurricane be a darker blue this time, or is it just the way the photo on the screen? Oh, ignore this photo. The first photo that came out was really washed out. I shared it actually, but it was almost like really difficult to see. It was like very pale, and so a couple of sites basically enhanced, you know, the contrast and stuff and darkened it a little bit. That's unfortunately there's gone too far with it, but yeah, that is just so you could get kind of like the details of what was on show, really. But yeah, the image is not clean. It's not a clean image. It's taken from the panel and enhanced, like I said before. I think the lights were on, so it wasn't like, you know, it wasn't very. It was really difficult for them to get a nice shot of it. Have I seen the price on that Rhino? I have. Oh, sorry, that was a bias one. You talk between yourselves. That's fine. Just print the damn picture, says Scott. Enhance. Enhance. I'll just print the damn picture. Anyway, that's M.A.S.K. I'm excited for Wave 2. It looks like it might just be 2 vehicles, possibly, or do you think just a sneak peek of Wave 2? Hard to say, isn't it? Maybe there might be more in the wave, or they might just be dropping 2 this time in this wave. But I would imagine, I don't know, maybe they'll be doing a couple more. But we'll have to see, won't we? I'm excited to see what they do with it. The stuff so far looks phenomenal. Very, very awesome. And yeah, I'm excited to see more of it, and definitely more stuff that we haven't had, though. That will be really cool, because obviously it's all well and good having kind of reissued stuff, and reissued is a little bit of a it's a little bit reductive here, isn't it? Because it's a little bit more than that. There's a little bit more to it than that. Oh, they had another image with 2 blocked out boxes. Thank you very much, Bias. So yeah, it looks like it's going to be 4 in the wave. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I wasn't aware of another panel image, so I very much appreciate that bit of information. So it looks like it's going to be, yeah, 4 vehicles in wave 2, which absolutely makes a lot of sense. We just haven't seen what they are yet. Right then. If they'd have done silhouettes, it would have been so obvious, wouldn't it? You'd have been able to work it out immediately. So yeah, just blocked out boxes makes sense. Right then, next up, we have, I don't remember what oh yeah, we've got a little bit of fans hobby news. Yes, so we've got pre-orders for the VE02 and decals for the ATAC, which is kind of cool as well. So we'll get to see that all decked out and looking really cool. So first up, as I said before, the kind of like not a Fang helicopter is up for pre-order. And I don't know, I think it looks, I've got to admit, I do think this is looking really nice now, all kind of finished and kind of done. And even with the little cockpit, I kind of think it looks pretty dope. The only thing I would say is, yeah, it's definitely not exact in terms of like proportions because of the Skyhawk kind of cockpit they've reused, but I still think it looks pretty dope. And in any case, this is now available, like I said, for pre-order. Link on our socials as well, on Facebook and all that jazz. Actually, I think it's just on Facebook. Bias is putting it out there now. Next thing Fans Hobby show will be a water-related vehicle. That's not a bad shout, actually. Not a bad shout. Anyway, that's really up for pre-order, and there's some, like loads of images on there too to have a look at. Now, they've also shared the stickers or decals for the ATAC, which actually, when they put all that gear on, it kind of looks even cooler. So I'm even more into this than I was before. I love the fact they've done that sort of like off to the side star, just to kind of make it look a little bit different from like the centralized star that's on the Ore Striker. I know, I think it looks really nice. There's a lot of really cool elements to this one that that you don't see on the other vehicles of a similar nature, like the Hasbro Ore Striker and the Jungle Hound, or any of the hounds for that matter. And it's weird, actually, Bias, but I don't know. I do like this one more to like, even though this was originally designed with a Chenoweth more than the Ore Striker in mind, I feel like it's morphed more and more into the kind of classic Ore Striker than the Hasbro one certainly has. The Hasbro one's definitely its own sort of thing now, isn't it? And I'm really interested to get that in hand, because every image I see of the Ore Striker, whether it be a promo image, in hand, in a booth, from a distance, up close, I cannot grasp what is going on with it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just don't know. Obviously, the best shot we got of it was when Lenny showed us on screen. And I kind of saw it at that point. I was like, oh, no, that looks great. I like that. Good proportions. I think it looks decent. But then I see another image of it. I saw it in the booth, and I wasn't sure if it was like the image or the angle or whatever. And I'm like, it doesn't quite look the same as the one that Lenny had. So I don't know. I want to get it in hand. I want to see the Ore Striker in hand before I really get a good idea of what that thing is. I've never known anything like that with this line, or with like any line, where you not the whole thing of it's better in hand than it is seeing it on like a screen or whatever Kitty said, but like that happens a lot. But I kind of feel like every image I see of the Hasbro Ore Striker looks different. It's like a different shape, a different proportion. The wheels are different shapes, different size, different shapes. Could you imagine if the wheels are different shapes? What shapes would they be? Freaking triangles. I crack myself up. I have to, really, don't I? Otherwise, I'd just be crying the entire time. Yeah, I think it'll look. I think the Hasbro Ore Striker is going to look phenomenal, because, again, like I said, the time I've seen it to make the best decision was when Lenny had it on screen and showed me, basically. But yeah, like I like the look of this one. I do. This has grown on me so much, and so has the friggin' Fang. Like, Fans Hobby, it kills me a little bit, because, like, obviously there's an IP issue with a lot of this stuff. But obviously, if it's different to some degree, it's like 25% different, then it's enough from a legal perspective. So it's one of those ones. It's a moral gray area, I want to say. And it's a weird, like, I haven't got any of them. I would, but the thing is, I keep looking at them going, I would love them. I would love that Tiger one. That Tiger Force Skyhawk thing is gorgeous. And even the VE01, like the kind of green version of it, phenomenal. But anyway, I'm gonna have to, it's just one of those things. I'm looking at them and I'm enjoying what I'm seeing. I like this angle here. I think it's got a really cool vibe to it. Each one is its own thing. They're all completely different, which is funny to me. Like, the Jungle Hound is completely different to the Hasbro Ore Striker, completely different to this. There's a running theme but they take it in so many different directions. But yeah, cool. And I think this one looks even cooler when you put that mounted sort of like cannon on the top of it as well. Yeah, this is dope. I like it. It's really cool. Little stick shift in there. And I looked at that stick shift and I instantly just heard the crunching of gears of trying to change that. Do you know what I mean? It looks so old school, that, doesn't it? It looks proper Chanel from World War II sort of vibes. This being based on a real world military vehicle is far less grey than the Hawk, says Max. Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I'm with you on the funky oar shape, says Blitz. Sorry, I've been liking the fans hobby more and more. It features a lot for the cash. Yeah, it's what they're only like, but they kind of just crack they get to the 100 mark. Is it like 99 or something like that? Do you think we'll ever see any of these small vehicles in classified? Maybe some towed weapons, asks the Hunter. You mean like the Skyhawk and the Fang? Definitely think the Skyhawk and the Fang have got to be high on their agenda, even though they have done this. Do you know what I mean? Like, even though the fans hobby have done these vehicles, I feel like, and I'm talking about the Fang and the Skyhawk more than I'm talking about the Ore Striker, because they have dropped it around roughly the same time. But I definitely think they've got to be high on the agenda because they're the only vehicles that make sense, and yet all these other third-party companies have sort of jumped ahead a little bit here. And I sort of get it in a way, but it might even, make the decision for Hasbro a little bit to not do them. I don't know. Did I watch Toy Kind of Mood or Striker video? I did, and I still can't get a grasp of it. Do you think we'll ever see any of these? Yeah. So maybe some towed weapons, the Hunter. Yeah, I do. I think we'll get more towables, as I like to call them, as if they're like a little snack that you put in your lunchbox as a child. A Dairyly towable. Sorry, they're called Lunchables in the UK. I like what they've done to classify the Ore Striker. I agree, Shelf. There are definitely elements to it that I'm into. I just want to see it in for myself. I know I'm going to be happy with it. Oh, yes, that's another good point, Bias. Yes, they posted a video for this particular vehicle. There's a little gearbox sort of switch that you can switch to make it silent, or you flick the switch on the bottom and it makes a kind of clicking noise, which makes it a little bit sound like an engine, like it's running, sort of thing, which is kind of fun. That's a nice little addition. Lots of fun little features on this one for sure. Skyhawk, Fang, Devilfish are the top 3 smaller vehicles I predict, or at least once, says Bad Wolf Media. Yeah, definitely those 3 are pretty much up there, aren't they? Would you throw like the Shark in there too, or is that a little bit bigger? It's definitely a little bit wider, but I wouldn't say it's not taking up more space from like a cubic capacity than, say, a Skyhawk at that kind of situation, is it? Obviously, it's got it's the wings that obviously kind of spread out a little bit, kind of make it a little bit bigger. But in terms of cockpit size, you're not talking much bigger, are you, than a Skyhawk? So maybe a Shark could be thrown in there too, although you kind of want it a little bit chonkier, the Shark, but just not a HasLab. Thanks. I'm absolutely shocked if Fang wasn't a digital reveal at SDCC. It's got to be coming, says Max. I'm kind of surprised no one, including Hasbro, has done an armadillo yet, says Jamie Lynn. That would be kind of fun, wouldn't it? Personally, I would like to see another new vehicle like the Coil, says White. Yeah, do you know what? Yeah, something new would be kind of fun, wouldn't it? Whirlwind or Mountain Howitzer, says the Hunter. Yeah, for towables, totally. Sorry, there's so many comments, guys. This is great. Keep going, but I'm going to move on a little bit. Sorry, as I'm moving through. So just some more images here of the AT-AC. And actually, I believe that's the last one that I have. But in any case, yes, you can go check out those images on Fans Hobbies socials, and on our socials, you can check out, and there's, of course, that little video of them messing with a little gearbox thing, which is really cool as well. Right then, that is the AT-AC. We'll move on next, and I believe, we're getting into Heroscape. Right then, Renegade Game Studios have revealed their upcoming G.I. Joe Heroscape at Gen Con. They did a little sort of cheeky post as a backer bonus for their current Kickstarter, which is for the G.I. Joe Risk game, which is doing all sorts of crazy good. It's like in 60 grand or something already, or 70 grand. Amazing. So they're going great guns with the Risk special missions Kickstarter, but before that, one of the little reveals for backers was a first look. Well, this artwork had sort of been already shown off a little bit, not to this level, but definitely kind of, this is like the completed artwork now. It's also showing you a little bit of what's going on with Heroscape. So this is not obviously part of Risk. Risk is a separate game. It was just part of the Risk backer bonus to see a little kind of heads up on the Heroscape game. Okay, so here we see Mindbender almost like looks like he is in charge of controlling some sort of portal, which obviously are then sending Storm Shadow and some other troops to G.I. Joe in the woods, or maybe they're just changing the location completely and they were all in the lab initially, and then Mindbender is doing something to change the environment. But anyway, very cool, beautiful artwork. And they also dropped these little miniatures for Duke and Cobra Commander. Again, what Renegade Game Studios seem to do is take from the sort of current materials handbook for Hasbro. So it's going to be all of the the newest sort of evergreen designs, like your kind of classic or early classified looks, which I've seen a lot of comments for people kind of saying we need to move on from this. It's kind of old fashioned now. I think we'll see this probably continue a little bit into these sort of things. But the beauty part with Renegade Game Studios is that they've been sort of incorporating all sorts of designs from all sorts of eras. So, I can see them, I can see them like doing more Dukes and more Cobra Commanders in different designs. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. Now, at Gen Con, Jason Morell, thank you very much, courtesy of Jason Morell, these images. So thank you very much, Jason. He took a load of pictures at Gen Con of the full sort of display case reveal for Heroscape, G.I. Joe version. And yeah, it looks kind of fun. Like lots of like kind of cards showing off the figures and everything. We got like Roadblock, Scarlet, just to kind of give you some of the and Snake Eyes and Duke, to give you some of the characters that are involved in Heroscape, all of your classic core characters basically. And here's a shot of some of the Joes and Zaymot and Tomax randomly. I think whoever put this board together, this display, didn't realize that Tomax and Zaymot were on the bad guys team. But yeah, so you've got Roadblock, Scarlet, Snake Eyes, a bunch of green shirts, and it looks like Ace in a battlecopter, which is pretty dope. Oops, sorry, knocked my microphone out of the way. There's Ace in the battlecopter. I think I've got another. There he is. There's a much better close-up of him. As you can see, it is Ace with that sort of pilot helmet. When I first saw that, I instantly thought Major Altitude due to the color. But on kind of closer inspection, you can clearly see it's Ace. Or it could be like I think as I've seen a lot of people mention, it could be like just a random green shirt kind of thing as well on a battlecopter. But I do think it's probably Ace, which is kind of dope actually. What a random version of a figure to throw in there. I love it. And then here's Duke and Tomax or Zaymot. We've also got Kamakura and Jinx behind Tomax and or Zaymot as well, which is kind of dope. And here we have the Cobra side. So we've got Cobra Commander, Storm Shadow, Destro, and Dr. Mindbender, all your classics. And what is really cool with this, we've got Serpentor and the Baroness over to the left there. Cobra Commander looks like obviously it's going to be the website Storm Shadow, the Yakuza Storm Shadow, the Operation Blackout Storm Shadow, the website artwork, whatever you want to call it. It is Tattoo Storm Shadow. We'll get there, Wilfredo. And then here's a shot of all of them, and of course the Trouble Bubble, which is pretty cool as well. With I think it's just a Viper, I think, in there. I didn't actually get a look, but there's some Vipers as well in there too, which is good, troopers and everything, which is cool. And there's Mindbender as well. Here's another shot actually of Destro too. That's a better shot as a trooper, isn't it? That's in the trouble bubble, which is pretty cool. And yeah, so Heroscape. Don't know exactly when we're going to be getting this coming out, but I'm sure some information has crept out of Gen Con, and I'll have to do some digging on that one. But at this moment in time, I do not know if there is like a release date, or if there's like an idea behind it, if we're going to get another Kickstarter for Renegade Game Studios. Either way, really cool to see all the little minifigs and everything. And I think, yeah, fans of Heroscape are gonna, fans of Heroscape and GI Joe are going to be all over this like a rash. And the fact that the Risk Kickstarter is doing so well, like I'm always kind of a little bit surprised when I see some of these things do what they do in Kickstarter campaigns. And yeah, I'm just super pumped that that this one's doing really well, and we've got more successful GI Joe stuff out there, which is great. Anyway, that is everything for Heroscape and Renegade Game Studios. Now, I think we have more booth images to look at from SDCC that we didn't look at before, and I kind of want to look at them and talk about them now. Yes, so His Tank posted, and Toyark posted some pretty awesome additional images of the booth at SDCC. No, not loads of stuff, but just some really nice close-ups and some kind of like detail shots. And I think some stuff that really sells me on these Ghost Vipers to next levels, honestly. We'll start though with the snowcat and the display, which did evolve a little bit. They threw an Arctic bat in there, some snow serpents took over. Snake Eyes had to take one prisoner. So yeah, it did some moving around of the display. Now, a lot of people have made comments, and I kind of have to agree a little bit to the kind of like extent that the Kickstarter's underperforming. It's not. We're still sitting here at what, like Sunday, with about like a couple of weeks left, under a couple of weeks maybe. Let me have a quick butcher's hook, which is Cockney rhyming slang for a quick look, obviously. Yeah, we're at 7626, right? So 11 days, damn, not even 2 weeks. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, like it's like a week and 4 days left, right? Now, it's still doing exactly the same thing that the Sky Striker did, but more. So it's traveling at the same, like, you know, kind of like it's gathering it's the same momentum as the Sky Striker, but at higher volume. So it's still performing better than the Sky Striker by a decent amount, actually. But at this stage, the fact that it hasn't funded makes me a little bit like just more frustrated than anything else. Like, I don't really know what's going on here. And also, I like what they did with this display. I thought it's kind of cool and kind of fun. And there's a lot to it. There's like, a little bit of a mountain range going on as well in the background. But I'm not sure how much it really wows with, again, it might be one of those things where if you have to be there sort of thing, but yeah, like from a perspective of watching it from, afar, not quite sure how much it does to really sell the snowcat. I'm on board. Like, I'm in the back in the cold in that little troop carrier bit, huddled up against the little engine, hoping to get some heat, and then maybe later crack the kitchenette open, maybe have some sausage and eggs, maybe a bit of fish. I don't know. I'm just I'm on board. I'm there. I'm already wearing a big parka. I've got a big fluffy pair of earmuffs to wear. I've got my beanie on. I'm like full force in the back of a snowcat right now. But I'm still, for me, it's more frustration than anything else. I'm not like entirely concerned that it's not going to hit 8. It's probably going to fund. It probably will. But at the same time, am I convinced that we're going to get the same sort of like spike. We'll probably will get a good spike, but I don't know how far that's going to take us. I don't know how far it's going to take us. At this point, I just wish it had already hit 8,000. I kind of was hoping SDCCC would have been the place. SDCC, yeah, SDCC would have been the place to really bump it to 8,000. It hasn't done that, so clearly this was not the desired effect. And a lot of people have commented on it, saying that they feel like it wasn't, you know, as big as previous HasLabs to show off. And I think a lot of that was down to the fact that Star Wars were dropping their HasLab. Maybe they had a bigger space for theirs. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But at the end of the day, I bloody want this. I want this really bad. And we'll have to see how it goes. The other thing is, they mentioned Iceberg as a name only reveal as well. So we are getting more snow troops for sure. To think we're not is kind of crazy. Like you need that, you need that to kind of make a decision is kind of weird because they're going to happen. I think there's a good point there. A lot of the marketing did go into Cold Slither, but I'll tell you now, my God, what an amazing marketing campaign that was. But you're almost certainly right. Because it's very difficult to run multiple campaigns at the same time of that magnitude without like really tripping over each other a little bit. So I feel like maybe they were hoping to get the whole Cold Slither thing done and dusted, and then have that little space at the back end to really push the snowcat. But again, like we've seen some what they're called promo images in the panel, but we haven't really seen them attached to the campaign on the website. And that's, I think, another thing. Like we need to see more promo images for this thing. We need to see it in action. We need to see it like really kind of giving it the big one, I think, personally. But who knows? What's gonna happen? I don't know. I personally, if you'd have asked me at the beginning of the whole thing, and I probably even thought this myself, I thought it was going to fund in the first 2 days. If not, I thought it was going to be done in a day. Funding wise, 8,000. I thought that would have been like that. The response that it got, I was a little bit like confused, for sure. I was a little bit confused with it. But at this point, if it is rising and it keeps rising, but it's just slow, that I don't understand why people aren't just jumping on it. But again, it's that mentality. It's the campaign mentality, isn't it? The Kickstarter campaign mentality. Some people, again, there'd be different reasons for it. So yeah, I don't know. I wonder if, like, after all the dust is settled, there's another good point that someone made as well. A lot of stuff is being delivered at this time. Lots of stuff is coming in that is, obviously being charged now. So like, at this point in time, maybe it's not a great time for people to be shelling out that sort of cash when they're already kicking out stuff for the claw, for the snake armor, for the modular fortification. And I'm picking out those because they're higher end, expensive items. And I don't actually know if many people have had the snake armor yet, but you know what I mean. And then you've got things like all the figures that are coming in, and it just adds up. It adds up. So, I think this all usually it wouldn't be an issue for it. Like, I don't think it wasn't an issue for any of the others. And we did have stuff coming in and around that kind of stuff as well. It only becomes an issue when there's an element of disadvantage attached to it from the beginning. And I think the reaction that people had to it almost certainly is having an effect on it now, I think. But again, the other thing I will say though is people are 100% within their rights to not like something. 100%. Like, if you don't like it and you don't want it, definitely don't have to get it. So I understand that 100%. I think obviously there's lessons to learn from this, but who knows? By the end of this, in 11 days' time, we could be looking at everything funded. We could be. It's happened in the past. And like I said, the Sky Striker didn't reach its final back account, but it it did get to beyond 14K. So, and the fact that the snowcat is doing better numbers than the Sky Striker still suggests to me that they could do the stretch goals at like late on. But I feel like something kind of important, like more videos, maybe more kind of like promo images, more anything to kind of really like push it a little bit. I miss the times of the those little marketing campaigns where you get like a little post every now and again for like the lead up or afterwards, like those little kind of intel, you know, intercepted intel kind of messages that was like, you know, like like when Storm Shadow was raiding Hasbro itself, like breaking in and all that kind of jazz and taking, and then you had like, was it like Chuckles taking pictures of the Hiss tank and stuff, you know, things like that. I really kind of miss those days a little bit of so this would have been perfect for that. They could have done a little lead up, and they did a little bit, but it was all very much just name droppy stuff, and they're like, it's going to be a cool one, stay frosty. So like, I don't know, I kind of feel like this week is a big week for it. If they don't do anything specific for it this week, I don't know what to say other than that. Like, you know, if there's nothing new and they just leave it out there, maybe just do a post to say, hey, the snowcat's still a thing, then like, I don't know, I just think that might be something that just damages a little bit on that one. But we'll have to wait and see, won't we? We'll have to wait and see. There's still a decent amount of time. Like I said, if you look at the trending sort of like on Geek Dad Life, the HasLab kind of like trackers, you can see it is, you know, it's literally the same kind of performance in terms of the angle of, you know, trajectory as the Sky Striker, just at higher volume. So it is doing better than the Sky Striker. So I'm hoping that by the end of it, we're looking at like a 15, 16K sort of situation. Like that would be great. But I do feel like this needs to be hitting 8K pretty damn soon, because I'm getting fed up and frustrated and I just want it done. I want to make a post to say, hey, I'm hardly going to be like, at this point, it's like I'm making a post at 7,100, 7,200, 7,300. No, let's keep it not ridiculous. We'll go nuts when it hits 8K, and I'll make a post there and go, congratulations on another successful funding situation. But yeah, I think that the crux of this one is going to be the tiers for sure. So fingers crossed is all I'm saying. Good luck. We're all counting on you. Right. We also have shots here, and that's enough talk of the snowcat. I think we've covered everything. There we go. Do I think the snowcat HasLab display was somewhat subdued so as not to overshadow the Star Wars HasLab? I don't know, Toy Bounty Hunter. I think maybe they just had space to work with in terms of display, and that's what they were given, and that's what they've got. That's probably what really was the case. The display case. But I don't know. I don't think there's a thing where it's like, well, maybe there was, because they are very good to each other. They're good. The brand teams, like, you know, it's not like they do stuff to mess each other up. So I imagine like there may have been a conversation where it'd be like, yeah, we'll do our push after SDCCC, maybe SDCC. Anyway, here is Short Fuse in his alternate kind of helmet look that I didn't show before. Just had the glasses version. That's really cool with his very wonky blast effect where the mortar's not going very far there, is it? That's quite funny. That's literally just going to be like in front of him. Oh, he's making a trench for the team. That's what he's doing. But anyway, yeah, very funny. And here is a close-up of Short Fuse. Like the funny thing with Short Fuse and Steeler, they look really good. They're effectively just green shirts with a couple of different secondaries and stuff, really, at the end of the day. But isn't that the OG-13 in a nutshell, pretty much? Anyway, looks good. What does blow my socks off, though, is what they've done to this Viper. Seeing these shots of the hands and that kind of cobra head and everything just yikes, looks incredible. Like when I first saw this in like the promo images, I was a little bit like, he kind of looks like the lawyer in Almost Sunny, almost sunny, always sunny, with the hands. My hand, nobody look, nobody look. Um, if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. It kind of reminds me of that with the like massive hands, but like seeing it here, like it still kind of looks like that. But I do like it. I do like this a lot. Is this Ghost Viper a Walmart fall winter release? Yes, Stanley, almost certainly. It's a Walmart Collecticon situation for sure. And here is the other version, the sort of like steampunk Hellboy Ghostbusters crossover is all I can really kind of muster here, because it's really cool. Like this helmet's really dope, and the little blast effect just reminds me of it just reminds me of Ghostbusters, and they are Ghost Vipers, so I kind of get it. What's really funny to me though is why didn't they call them Dire Vipers? You know, because dire, dire is a thing that's part of like Cold Crystal Ball, mystical tech sort of vibe. Dire Viper, I know it sounds a little bit like Jaya Viper, and if you know, you know. Shout out to the late Gary Goggles, all love, bruv. But like in this scenario, Dire Viper would have kind of made sense, wouldn't it? And it would have made the title so much less ridiculous. Surely Dire Viper makes sense, but Ghost Viper featuring like or with dire beasts kind of like it kind of like goes like, guys, Dire Viper would have just been so much easier. Diana thinks it's kind of close to diaper, diaper, dire Viper. I guess. We need a team leader named Poltergeist. Pass. That's amazing. The funny enough, the one head I really love on the Ghost Viper is the Supernaturals one with the kind of like holographic skull on the Viper mask, which we don't have a close up of on here, but obviously we've seen in promo images and what have you. But this helmet's really cool. This is the kind of steampunk one that I really like. There's some real like interesting design on this one, but that what a cool head sculpt. Kind of want to use this on other troopers. Do you know what I mean? I think, okay, I'm throwing this out here. That could be reused for a Data Viper, couldn't it? We could get a Data Viper with that helmet, and it would be dope. Anyway, just saying. Toy Bounty Hunter says, I know a lot of people are digging the Dire Illusion stuff, but I want these Vipers for the skull visor look. An Elite Viper Ghost team would be awesome. Yes, that's what I'm saying, bruv. That's what I'm saying. They come with dire wolves too. Yes, dire beasts, the whole thing. This is a home run, says Chris G. Shelf Present says, lol. It's all weird, shiz. It's a cartoon and comic book military force. No, don't know many armies that deploy ninjas. Weird coming levels. Yes, it does, Shelf. There's a lot of weird, and there's a lot of different levels to it in the G.I. Joe universe for sure. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Max. It just feels like a Data Viper to me, but like I definitely think they could do that. Or Wraith, yeah, alternate sculpt for Wraith. Although Liquid Identity, I think they would probably do like a removable thing, like an Iron Man sort of situation for Wraith if they ever did a Wraith. So that one I would like to see them kind of, you know, do some sort of like, you know, articulation for, because I think that would be worth doing. Anyway, love this so much. And look at that shot as well from the front. It looks so cool. Or a bit insect-like as well. And also we got shots of mainframe, which I love this because we get to see the removable helmet in play. We get to see all the little kind of doodads that he gets, the gizmos that he gets to play with as well. I'm here for mainframe, guys. I know a lot of people are a bit concerned about his height in this one, but for goodness sake, there can be short people in G.I. Joe. It doesn't have to just be Tunnel Rat. We can have mainframe as a little shorty. And even then, Tunnel Rat isn't that short. He's not like 3 heads shorter than everyone else. It's not like, you know, we're not talking about like Gimli. It's not like the difference between Gimli and friggin' you know, the whatever the thing's called, the Balrog. It's not that different. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna say short kings, definitely. Dinah says, as a short person, I'm here for short Joes. Amazing. Anyway, mainframe, love him. Love all the gear he comes with. I'm a big fan of this one for sure. Wetsuit. Oh, the ultimate no notes figure from Classified so far. The no notes, guys. You've done us proud with this one, is all I'll say. So much cool gear. The classic diver wetsuit. The kind of like, I would say this is, or I tell you what, no, I do have notes. Definitely think they should have done speedos rather than rather than the full-on teal wetsuit on this one, because just like his card art, give him the no pants scenario, please and thank you, or just full on no pants, not even speedos, just full on skin on show, please. And yeah, and a little wiener as well would have been perfect. No, for sure. Like, this wetsuit is absolutely perfect. I remember getting wetsuit in Scotland when I was a kid, and I loved that figure so much. I remember like it was just that one I got, I think, that day, and I remember just like absolutely falling in love with it. The color, all the different features, like the plug-in, like the mask plugged in and plugged into the backpack, and everything was just so cool with him. The little halogen lamp, the little water vehicle, everything with wetsuit was just absolutely superb. So I love what they've done with the classified version. I'm here for it, and I just think this is the most perfect thing I've ever seen. The most perfect thing I've ever seen in classified. Speaking of which, Budo looks dope, doesn't he? In his alternate kind of gear, and his long hair as well makes him look very, very sexy. I was actually watching. What was I watching this morning? It was on. It was a documentary series about the Samurai Way, or the Samurai something, Samurai Era, something like that. It's on Netflix, and I just put that on just kind of like while I was doing some other work, and I look like, he looks exactly like, is it Nokagama, like the famous kind of like very bloodthirsty samurai that started basically taking over all of Japan in like 1500 and 1500s. I think it's Nokagama. Anyway, he looks very much like that guy, which is a bad thing because he was horrible. But this head sculpt is amazing. Yeah, it's just amazing. Just Budo is friggin' next level. Look at this. Look at this. You don't even have to have this version if you don't want either. I'm gonna. Oh, no, another just brilliant figure. Anyway, that is everything for more booth images. We're going to continue with classified and basically talk about what's actually happened this week, which is pre-order tastic. Yes, so we've had classified pre-orders this week following SDCC. We'll start though with this, the very highly controversial Cold Slither drop. Now, the amount of, I mean, let's face it, this has been very popular. It's to the point where we are back to minute sellouts, although I think it's more crashes that are happening, to be fair. Now, it is still up for pre-order, I will say. What I think happened when it first went up, and I'm not talking about not yesterday. When was it? Whenever it was, the first, which was 2 days ago. When it dropped on the first, I'm talking about before that, when it dropped for premium over like the 24th, was it? I think it crashed. And the people that could get it got it, but for the most part, it crashed and burned, and we didn't really get a decent opportunity to actually, order any for that period. And there would have been fewer, I think, opportunities to get some at that point anyway. But I still think it was a bit mental. I managed to get it at that point on the 24th, so I was kind of like, quids in, thank you, and it's shipping already. Now, fast forward to the first, and it was supposed to go up at 1, and I watched it tick over, and I purposely went in as a premium member, clicked refresh as it clicked over, got the little add to cart, clicked in there, had it in the cart, went to the checkout, and then was like, okay, right, backed out because I didn't want to take one from someone that might want one because I already had one. I just wanted to see if it would work. And by the time I came out, it was 101. It was still there, still said add to cart when I refreshed the page. When I came out of the page to post on our socials to say it's up, yada, 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 it sold out. 102, I think it was, right? And what I think happened was that the system crashed due to traffic because it was very popular and everyone wanted one and everyone jumped on and it just crashed. When I reached out to ask for a bit of, help and guidance, because nothing happened for ages, it was just sold out. We waited for 2, nothing happened at 2, and I was like, okay, I think I know what's happened here. It's crashed. It's not because it's sold out in a second or a minute, it just crashed. And so that was the case because when it went finally up at like 3:45, 4 o'clock, something like that, it was something like that Eastern time, it popped up and pre-order, boom, you could get it. It's delivering for September, I believe. And yeah, so maybe it was a case of just very few items, like very few or enough to instantly sell out for that order to get it kind of like shipped immediately, kind of an in-stock kind of order, compared to the pre-order which went up afterwards. Maybe, I don't know, but it's up there. You can get it. It's available. It's a pre-order. You can buy it if you want it. It's there. But yeah, like there are so many issues. And what's really funny is someone made a couple of comments when I posted that we'd cancelled the stream because of the the technical issues. They're like, oh, the Full Force clearly had the same technical team that Hasbro Pulse do. It feels like that sometimes. It really does. But if you do want it, it's available and you can go get it. Now, there are other issues that require workarounds for people, clearly, because there are issues with credit card problems and phone numbers and all that kind of stuff. The what I would say is, basically, you're probably better off setting up another account, in all honesty. Canceling the other one if you can, because again, that doesn't seem easy, does it? But I definitely think there's a couple of things that need to happen here. One, Hasbro Pulse does need to start thinking about this because it happens almost every time now. Now, again, like they finally got it kind of up and running, and technical issues happen. They do. And on the scale like this, sometimes that volume is just something that can't be dealt with. But there needs to be also attached to that probably communication issues that need sorting out. I will say that they were very quick, 100%, to kind of put stuff out. If you're following the socials, you'll see messaging. If you're following B.Mac or Lenny or Tony or Emily or Hasbro Pulse on social platforms, you'll see messaging come out if you're struggling to try and find out information. Usually in stories is the best place to see it. They usually post it in like Instagram there seems to be the main kind of like, what do you call it? Seems to be the main messaging kind of point that they use. But anyway, yes, I think comms in general needs to happen. Just be better in getting that information out. Yeah, in terms of, I think there's a comment there about the Rattler. Yeah, the Rattler's coming in batches. Mine is actually on its way now. Yay. I got a shipping notification a couple of days ago. So yeah, it's just one of those ones where you have to just be patient with the Rattler because you're in different segments basically. And when a batch comes in, they ship them out and they just keep doing that each time. Bush, bush, bush. And you'll get it. Eventually you will get it. Hello, Chris. Any news on the police officer? Asks Alexandros Yanis. No, nothing. Other than the only information we have is that we will probably see it soon. No, not soon, but in the future. Actually, that soon is not the word I was told, but it'll come eventually. Is what I was told. My Rattler will be here Monday, says Toy Bounty Hunter. I'm so excited for it. I do hope my internet connection stays solid because it has dropped out today, by the way. Not on this show so far, but it might do. So I'm going to keep moving. The next thing I wanted to point out was the fact that I didn't notice this little Ratillo that was in the Cold Slither box art, which is funny because I looked at it in real life and saw friggin' Yobbo and Monkey. I was so focused on Monkey Wrench that I never noticed the rat creature coming out of the dumpster. So that was a nice addition. And then I didn't realize what it was until someone said it's the Ratillo from into your tent I will silently creep, the last episode of the Sunbow series, the one where Cross Country gets his radio nicked. That one. Yeah, but I love that. That's really funny. It's what a cute random little homage they've thrown in there. Yeah, anyway, I just thought that was a fun little thing to throw in there. Now, we also got, in terms of pre-orders, the mainline waves of figures. We got Sci-Fi, the Grim Viper, Mainframe Wetsuit, Desert Scorpion, and the Defense Post with Steel Core Sentry. No need to go into loads of detail on this one, but that went pretty much according to plan. And I still believe most of that is available, if not all of it is, I would say. It's only usually the exclusives that really kind of disappear, and you never see them again. But I'm pretty sure, yeah, you can still pre-order the Desert Scorpion, Sci-Fi, Grim Viper, Mainframe, Wetsuit. Yeah, they're all available for pre-order. So no harm, no foul on that one. At least that was pretty straightforward. Anyway. Who would they pair the rat with, if anyone? I'm not sure if it's coming, Grizzlehorn, the Ratillo, but I think it's just like a nice little kind of thing to throw in, like a little homage in the artwork. If it was going to come with a character or a figure, it's hard to say, isn't it? Really, because it doesn't really, you know, it's not going to be necessarily with Destro. It'd be kind of fun if it did, but it'd be a bit weird because it's sort of his, but not. Cross country, if they ever did a cross country, but I don't know how you get in cross country, to be fair. Anyway, season 2 of the first Sunbow era season. If you're thinking Somar season 2 is the Deke series, then that's incorrect. It was the second series of the Sunbow. So like basically the Sunbow era is broken up into 2 seasons, and the last season, the last episode of the Sunbow era, is this episode, Into Your Tent I Will Silently Creep. If you're thinking Deke, that is a different kettle of fish with its own season structure as well. 6 more backers of the HasLab, or 6 more hackers on the BasLab, since you brought it up. Keep doing the work, Chris. Did I just convince 6 people? They're the 6 people that are not watching this show right now, guaranteed. Bryce says, on Friday, I spent an hour constantly refreshing and resending my order. It never worked, and then they were gone again. Hasbro eventually made it right on Saturday, and now I forgive them. Amazing. Make a sewer viper, Chris G. Genius. Oh, actually, what's it, Swamp Rat? That would be a kind of cool one to come with a little Ratillo, wouldn't it? Swamp Rat would be a dope one. Swamp Rat would be an amazing figure to do in general. Yes, the modular fortification is starting to ship as well. Yes, I did see that. Again, bad timing. I mentioned that actually Kuriketsu earlier in the episode. I threw that in with coming in at the same time as the other ones, you know, the bigger kind of size things like the claw and that kind of stuff. And the Rattler even. I mean, that's delivering. So people are paying for it now. Right? No, that's not true. That's not true. No, that's not true. The Rattler's already paid for because that's paid when at the end of the HasLab. My bad. Forget that. Forget I said that. The claw, though, is what I mentioned. I said the claw, the snake armor, and the modular fortification kind of all coming in at the same time is kind of a bit heavy. And Cold Slither, technically. Swamp Rat and Ratillo is a perfect pairing. You're welcome, Scott. Data Viper, Ratillo as pet, Barking Fridge. It's not a bad shout. Cyber Viper as well, Barking Fridge. Yeah, these all make sense because they're all sort of like little tech creatures as well. Anyway, done. Now, Lenny's also been posting some lovely inputs of Budo here to show a lot of the new kind of gear here on the figure. Well, I'm pretty sure most of Budo's new. It's only a couple of kind of like reuses, isn't it? Is there any reuse on Budo? There must be on the body. It just didn't feel like it when I saw the figure stripped down, but I'm sure there is reuse on him. But anyway, lots of cool new to enjoy from Budo, including these wonderful bits of armor. I mean, this armor set is really dope. It's so dope. I love it so much. I'm so excited for Budo. Another one I've got very close kind of like nostalgic connection to. Love it. He's also posted Pythona. I always say it like Daytona. Do you remember that? Daytona, Pythona. The Pythona 500. Does that? No. Anyway, here she is. There's kind of like a little sketch in the background of her doing cool stuff, just standing, posing, sticking her arm out. And then there's obviously her kind of front and back kind of shot here. Very cool. And it's just a random foot, the random bottom of a foot there as well, which is interesting. But again, very nice to see the sort of like input phase and kind of Lenny's sort of like interpretation of her kind of armor and body kind of sculpt, which is really dope. I will say, yeah, my Pythona, that works as well. Congrats, Chris. You're only the second one to have a clue how to pronounce my UN on stream. Username. Crusty Old Crow being the other. Oh, that's good. I'm glad I got it right. Kuroketsu. Figure of the year potential says shelf presence. Yes. Pythona. Oh, I keep forgetting, right? Like I get to mainframe and I'm like, oh, mainframe's really cool. I get to wetsuit, oh, wetsuit's awesome. Oh, sci-fi's pretty dope. Oh, that Grim Viper's really buzzing my berries now. And then I'm like, oh, the Desert Scorpion and the Scorpion, and then it's like, oh yeah, Pythona. We've seen Pythona as well, and she's amazing. Budo. Like, what is going on? This line is just getting insane with the quality. Anyway, it's looking great. I can't wait to see. Let's face it, Cobra La Royal Guard, which has to be coming soon, right? Globulus, same vibes. We've got to be seeing Globulus in the Royal Guard at some point soon. Fingers crossed. Yeah, Slice and Dice. I completely forgot about Slice and Dice, and they look dope as well. Oh, missed it to the left. Does anyone know what I mean when I say that? You'll only know what I'm talking about if you've got TikTok, probably. Missed it to the left. Anyway, we also got John Giangar as well for Pythona, which is just out of this frigging world. John does gorgeous artwork for the classified series and for the comic covers as well. Just fire. I think his first one was Barbecue. Oh, no, it's Firefly. No, it was Barbecue. His second one was Firefly because it was the other version of Firefly, right? No, Firefly was the comic cover he did. Damn, he did comic covers, didn't he? With like Snake Eyes, Storm Shadow, Firefly. He did the Barbecue and Barbecue Marauders artwork for Classified. He's done a couple of others since, I think. Did he do Nemesis Immortal as well? I think he did Nemesis Immortal, actually. But anyway, he's been doing amazing stuff, and this Pythona is just friggin' excellent. Next level, beautiful, love it. Keep up the stunning work, John and team. Thank you very much. And is there more? I think there's even more to go through. We've got in hand, yes. This is from Jen Kyle 2020, I believe, on Reddit, who posted his in hand. Monkey Wrench looks amazing. The divers also look really cool. These are going to look, for me, the divers have got to be multiples, and they've got to back up your Joe and your Cobra teams. And I think that's where they're going to shine, is that sort of multiples, that color pop. Is going to look so dope with like the red with the eels. Phenomenal. That's going to look phenomenal. The yellow with wetsuit now and torpedo and the diver and shipwreck. Oh, it's going to look so good with all those guys. Anyway, very cool. Snake Eyes and the polar bear. I will say, I did also notice how funny it was. He was holding the polar bear in a certain way where his little finger kind of looks like something else. But I think that's hilarious and cute and fun and adorable. But yeah, the polar bear looks great, and Snake Eyes looks cool. I'm very excited to get all these figures in. To be honest, now We also have a massive shout out to a Shark-Eyed Toy View, Adam, of course, on YouTube, and for the images as well. He sent us a ton of the images, posted all his in-hand reviews of these figures as well in hand. We've got Cobra Commander battle armor, or combat armor, as it said. I will say, I'm not as impressed seeing these images as I was seeing him in the booth the other day. I felt like the booth shots really did kind of make him pop, but the shot, I'm not saying that Adam's photography is bad. I'm saying that this might be closer to what we're going to see in hand, which, I think is a little bit less impressive, because it does look like a little kind of softer gray. And I kind of wish they'd done a little bit more with this, in terms of, if you're not going to do kind of like a chrome or a silver or something like that, then at least do some sort of wash on it to kind of make it look like a dirtier kind of situation. But anyway, the iguana looks phenomenal. They do great with the animals. So yeah, I'm excited to get another animal in the lineup for sure. But yeah, the Cobra Commander, it's really cool figure. I just feel like the deco is letting it down on the silver. But again, in hand might be different for people. You might have different, you might have a different feeling about it. And I'm going to hold judgment until I'm sitting here with it in my hand, Kitty said, and kind of going, yeah, I feel like this could have been better. But yeah, I'm with you guys on some of the concerns with how that metallic look isn't really looking very metallic and looks very plasticky. And it shows up mostly on these shots, actually. It does actually look like it's see-through actually on that head sculpt. Obviously it's not. But yeah, I'll have to withhold judgment until I have it in hand. But we do see obviously the two different head sculpts here as well, with the kind of like the snake eyes in the background, not to be confused with snake eyes. Could be the lighting, could very much be the lighting indeed, but we shall see. Monkey Wrench though, absolutely phenomenal. This one is up there, I think, for possible figure of the year. If Diana says, is it wrong to just want the animals, and how do I go about doing so sans eBay? Find someone that doesn't want the animals, I would say, Diana, and then just work a symbiotic relationship with them. Anyway, yeah, Monkey Wrench could be up here as a 100% figure of the year kind of shout. He's amazing looking. Loads of different options as well. You've got the Mad Max look with the red and blue 3D shades. You've got the scarred no glasses look. You've got the cover my face, someone's farted look. Again, you've got Mad Max again. So many great looks from Monkey Wrench. I think this one's going to be an absolute phenomenal shout for figure of the year, or at least a top 5 job. Speaking of which, I'm still actually very excited and happy with how the Snake Eyes turned out. I think the shots I've seen of this in hand, the one in the booth, the Snake Eyes they had in the booth at SDCC, gorgeous. The shots that Adam's showing here looks friggin' awesome. So I am very excited at how Snake Eyes has turned out. I think he looks great. So I'm really excited to get one of my favorite all-time figures designs in the classified series. I'm really excited for this. I do agree with that low liquid identity. There needs to be some sort of wash on the gray plastics. I agree with that. But I think if you look at the shots from SDCC, the details stick out really well. Anyway, yeah, kind of can see it a little bit here when there's a little bit of shadow. But I think he looks great. I'm really happy with Snake Eyes, genuinely. Now, there's his face. There's more to come before I finish. There's a close-up. Major Blood. He got Major Blood in hand as well, just kind of before we were about to go live yesterday. And I had to steal these images off his Instagram because he didn't get a chance to send them to me. But thank you anyway, Adam. You know I appreciate you very much. And thank you for sending me all of your links and pictures when they go up. I really appreciate it, definitely. But yeah, this Major Blood looks good. I'm, not that fussed because obviously that first Major Blood ticks all my boxes, but very much into this look for him. And for people that, again, maybe don't have a Major Blood, this is a perfect one to get, I think, in that kind of absence. So yeah, looking pretty cool. I like the red on the vents. It's very much classified as opposed to vintage. There's nothing vintage about this. This is just another version of a classified sort of element. So it's not like a retro version of Major Blood. It is a very much still stays within the classified realm. And I wonder if that's got something to do with why he stayed in that classified retail wave of 4 and not a retro release, because they weren't going to do that many new things with him. And keep him sort of semi-classified designed. So who knows? Maybe there is a shout in the future for a truly retro Major Blood, possibly. Maybe they're keeping that space open in a couple of years. I don't know. But I think you've got to give it a bit of time now between Bloods, or at least between this version of Blood and another similar version of this version of Blood, if that made sense. I'd be all over a Sonic Fighters or a Supersonic Fighters Blood, I think it was. And any other version of Major Blood that's different to this one, different to the vintage version one, if that makes sense. JB says, Cobra Commander and Snake Eyes look much better in person. I believe the lighting used in the reviews dulls the image. Okay, cool. That's nice to know, JB. Thank you. Again, like I said, I'm going to hold my kind of feelings on it until I have it in hand for sure. Now, here's another shot of blood. Major Blood. And then there's another shot of blood, and then we can see the Tampo, which is that kind of classic one that he has, the green one with the little kind of knife on it and the 2 diamonds either side. We got that. That's nice. Lovely. And okay, listings. Now, I have an update for you guys. Don't say I never do anything for you, okay? And I know I've buried that lead a little bit. If you're an hour and a half into this episode, you're like, Chris, you didn't say anything about having something new to talk about in the listings. Well, I do. Okay. So just deal with it. 2025 listings as you were. Imagine if my feed cut off now. Nothing has changed. Everything's green apart from the yellow things and the red things and that one blue thing, which is the postponed police tactical unit situation, which, as I mentioned earlier, we don't know what's happening with. We just know that they are planning to release it in the future. So it's going to come. We just don't know when, okay? But it's one of those things where I think we just have to stay patient with if you want that particular figure. Now, flipping over to the exclusive side, Short Fuse and Steeler, of course, are a Target exclusive. They are going to be up for pre-order on the next Target. Maybe the Geek Out. Whatever the next one is, we'll probably see Short Fuse and Steeler go up as, that. I think it's in the fall Geek Out. Then we've got the Ghost Viper and Dire Beasts, which will also go up as a Walmart exclusive. And that will be one probably release for Joe and Walmart in that fall category as well. Chris needs to do a whole show just announcing Zorana and Major Blood for an hour. I know, right? Nice one, Bad Wolf. So yeah, so I think I've explained that. Yeah, Ghost Viper, Dire Beasts, that will be Walmart exclusive, and that will be in the fall. Everything else is green there. We know all about that. Then we get to Chairface, which is a Fanmazon release. I don't know what it is. All we know is that it is a $44.99, which is a figure and pet price point. It is Fanmazon. It's a possibility or likely that it could be a Mutton Junkyard repaint. And I've put Mad Marauders Mutton Junkyard in there as a guess because I don't know, and it's driving me frigging mad. But it's a good bet because Fanmazon is somewhere where they've done a Marauders redeco already in the Sarge, and also it's a figure pet price point, and the only figure pet price point that would get a redeco, which is effectively what I expect this to be, is going to be something like Mutton Junkyard, because Road Pig, maybe not. Norgahide, maybe not. I'm trying to think of others, but you get what I'm saying, right? It just feels like it's a possibility. It might not be, and it could also be something brand new. I don't think we have the details on that listing specifically. Sometimes we get like a little bit of detail that isn't what the character is, if you know what I'm saying. So we don't know anything about this other than the listing, so, and the price. That's it. So I'll have to check that out. Toy Bounty Hunter wants it to be Nightfall, Spearhead, and Max. If it was Nightfall, Spearhead, and Max Toy Bounty Hunter, it would be a Walmart exclusive. But I get I get it. Python Patrol Crocmaster is a good shout. So it could be, I should really take that Munt Junkyard out because it could be one of many different options, honestly. That's just me guessing. And if I get it right, bonus. If I get it wrong, whatever. But yeah, it could be Crocmaster Python Patrol. That would be phenomenal, actually. Anyway, green, green, green. Pythona we know is coming as a fall convention exclusive, then followed by Pulse. Everything's green. We do know what that vehicle is. It's a Pulse exclusive, but we can't say until some sort of like name only reveal or official reveal. So that's going to have to unfortunately stay locked until that gets revealed. Then green, 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 green. And then Ralph T is an inactive listing. It doesn't mean the figure was cancelled, by the way. It's more likely that the figure was pushed into the next wave of things, which brings me to what we can tell you that is new for 2026 in terms of it's just more listings. I'm afraid it's not anything that unlocks anything, but it's just more listings to talk about. So that Retro Ralph T is just an inactive listing for those uninitiated and confused at what the hell is going on right now. 2026, now, as you can see on the left-hand side, we have retail waves of 4. So why is it then, Chris, that there's a huge batch of random retail wave numbers stuffed together to make 6? It's because that's the information we have. We have listings. Those are the numbers. I imagine that they've all been knocked about and moved around. So I guess there's probably going to be another thing that happened like last year, like on here with Snake Eyes, Monkey Wrench, Combat, Cobra Commander, Major Blood, Sci-Fi, Grim Viper, Mainframe Wetsuit, where everything got mushed around and bundled and moved. I imagine some of that's happening here to the left. I don't think these are going to be in order, but I've put them in order. Usually they would have been in this order for these particular releases for retail waves of 4. But as you can see, there may be another bunch of 4 to come. So maybe we're missing 2 more and we'll get those later maybe. And then they'll probably be for the following 2027 situation. Okay. Now, the new ones are S.K. Deliria G2284, S.K. Turmoil G2285, S.K. Randall. These are all SWAT Cats characters, by the way. G2287. So they kind of move around into that, numerical position. There will probably be more information that organizes that better, but at the moment, that's where I'm putting them. Okay. So if you're confused as to why the retail waves of 4 now contain a 6, it's probably because they're going to be moving things around, and some of those are going to get bumped or moved or pushed to the next year. Okay. But right now, this is just the information that is out there in terms of listings that have been made available. Okay. Now, what you'll also see is a crap ton of retro listings that have just popped up and appeared. So also for those people that were saying, I'm a bit concerned that there's only like 5 listings on 2026. Well, it's looking a lot more like last year now, isn't it? Always happens. They come out in these little batches. We'll find them in like shipping data. We'll find them in like all sorts of different information, whatever it may be. And, they get thrown into this sort of like listings kind of lineup, basically. Sometimes we get information about it, sometimes we don't. And we just have to either work it out or not work it out and just have to struggle with not knowing the entire time. But we do know that there's a ton there of retro listings that have been added. So that makes 3, 6, 9 in total, like last year, although there were only 8 because one of them got deactivated. I just thought it'd be funnier to say that. Don't have to be grammar police on me on that one. So yes, those retro listings there are Mom, Dad, Misspell, Major Glory, Crunk, and Valhallan. Okay, so they are the new listings for the retro listings for 2026. That's everything. The only 2 that we know we've unlocked are Taurus and Red Dog, which is a 2-pack, and that's JQ Johnny 2-pack. And this, it's unknown still, the internal code word, but the HasLab snowcat is G2043. And I suppose doesn't have an internal code word maybe until it funds, possibly. I don't know. I've never really thought about it before, but maybe that is the point. Maybe it doesn't have a listing until it funds. That's happened in the past where we've had a listing, but not until after the fact every single time. So yeah, maybe that will get an internal code word, I guess. We've got a number at least. But Bad Wolf Media says, you're covered, Chris. Inactivated is a proper US military term. Units are inactivated all the time. Well, that's good. There you go. I've used the military, and that tracks because we're in the military zone. So that's great. Right. I'm going to bring this to a close with the shout outs. But before that, oh, no, sorry. What am I talking about? There's still this to talk about, isn't there? So name only reveals currently. The official ones are Lifeline, Hit and Run, Iceberg, Taurus and Red Dog 2-pack, and Big Lob, of course. Only a complete accident that I put all the movie characters on the bottom run there, but still really cool for the Joes. That's a really good lineup of figures to come, honestly. As soon as we find out who they are in relation to those listings, we will unlock them. Have no fear. Night Viper, of course, over there on the right-hand side for Cobra. And then the official digital renders we have currently are for the Legacy Police Officer. Yes, I know there are images that exist of that figure, so it's slightly it exceeds digital render at this point, but you know what I mean. Until it hits pre-order, it stays there. Short Fuse and Steeler, obviously, the other Joe kind of render, and then you've got the HasLab loadout of renders. I'm really hoping I can update those soon, honestly, with greens for the individual tiers. Hey, I'm going to be optimistic until I'm not. All right. And then Ghost Viper with Dire Beasts on the right-hand side for Cobra. Cobra looking a little bit in the name only and digital renders department are looking a little bit light, aren't they? It's Night Vipers and Ghost Vipers. It's just all the things that are going to scare you when the lights go out. Anyway, there you go. That's everything. Let's talk. Let's have a word from our sponsor, the deluxe treasury editions of Battle Action Force, and then we'll do shout outs. Yes, Battle Action Force Treasury Deluxe Treasury Editions available on TotalToyBooks.com if you're in the UK and Europe, and Skeletron.com if you're in the US. They are the most beautiful books in history of reprinted Battle Action Force editions. But no, in general, they are friggin' amazing, guys. And I can't say enough amazing things about them. Now, you can also help out by... actually, this may have actually finished now. I don't think you can you do that still? I just got to double check on this, because I think yesterday it might have been possible to. I'm not so sure now. If you just bear with me 2 seconds, I'll find out the details, because I want to make sure 100% we can actually still nominate them. When did it finish? July 31st. It's done. So we'll hopefully find out if they have been nominated. I don't know if we know that yet, if we've got the information back on that. But yeah, so the news for this is we will find out whether they've been nominated, if your hard work of getting them nominated has worked. But I definitely jumped on there to help them to vote for the Battle Action Force Treasury Editions. They're amazing. Also, this is coming soon. Total Action Force Volume 3, courtesy of Brian Hickey and Total Toy Books, of course, and Paddy Lennon. So massive shout out to the lads for this one, and I cannot wait to start getting into this, because of course we don't have a date yet, or I'm not aware of a date yet, but it will be coming very, very soon. So be aware that there will be another one of these beautiful editions, volumes available. And this goes into all of the concept, behind the scenes stuff from the Palatoy era, loads of never before seen things in here. A lot of stuff that, also you'll throw in, like, there'll be things like stuff you have seen before, but maybe like in just like not very good quality. They have got the benchmark of quality images in here for all of the things in that kind of like period, concept stuff, unreleased stuff, just amazing stuff. And I can't wait to kind of get stuck into this with Brian and maybe do another episode with him to talk about it. Anyway, when is the Robo Skull book is a good question. That's a question for them though, not me. I do not know. I imagine it's on the list to come, along with the 6-inch figures as well, which are also in the process of being done. So at the moment, I don't know. is the question on that one, and I'll get some answers for you for that one. Bad Wolf Media says, I just watched Pixel Dan's video getting the OG Roboskull in the UK and meeting the designer, Bob Breakin. Fun stuff indeed. Yes, I need to check that out. Actually, I haven't seen that yet. I just saw his post, his images. But yeah, I was so jealous. So jealous. Speaking of Bob, here he is with Brian at this was actually at the Colville, celebrating all things Palatoy and selling the few remaining copies of Bob's book, My Palatoy Story, which Brian obviously helped make as well, create. There's only one copy left, actually. It may already have been sold, in actual fact. So they may be a full sellout on My Palatoy Story, which is an incredible book, by the way. Not just about Action Force and what have you, but it's got it's the whole history of Palatoy, told as well from like Bob's perspective, from some of the information that he's been privy to and has got available with interviews and stuff. It's amazing, and of course from Bob's perspective as well, it's incredible. So yeah, that is a big Jawa RKW. That is definitely bigger than Mainframe, isn't it? Anyway, brilliant. Shout out to Brian. Shout out to Bob. Love you guys. Hopefully I'll better get to see you soon this year, maybe. Who knows? Fingers crossed. Or short stormtroopers, indeed. Aren't you a little tall to be a Jawa? The Jawa came to rescue her. Anyway, also shout out to, of course, Articulated Points to Phil and Pat. Of course, Pat, what would usually be on with me, but of course, the time mix-ups and the changes and everything have not made that possible. We're going to try and find something going forward that works, but it may just be, unfortunately, when we do the new time for the weekly, unfortunately, it might be that Pat can't do it, which sucks, I know. But we'll think about that. That's going to be a week thing to work out this week. But shout out to Articulate Points to Phil and Pat. Thanks, Phil, as well, for all of the work you did over SDCC and getting me tons of images to post for everybody. Very much appreciate you, mate, for doing that. And shout out to Pat as well. I have to see you on soon, bud, for sure. Also, Codename Iowa, assembly required November 14th and 15th. They have just made a post for vendors. So if you are a vendor and you want to be at the show in Des Moines, Iowa, the best G.I. Joe convention, in my opinion, then, go check out that social post on our pages and on Codename Iowa's socials as well. They've also got these amazing items on codenameiowa.com, including new cool stuff and maybe some other stuff to come in the future, which I might be able to talk about very soon as well, which is all exciting. Now, big shout out as well to Skeletron.com, who are amazing. Shout out to Ben, Mark, everyone involved. Love you guys. And of course, you can get your Roboskull Mark IIs from Skeletron.com and your Deluxe Treasury Edition Battle Action Force books as well. Go do it. Also, massive shout out to the wonderful Word Burglar for successfully decimating his Kickstarter pledge goal. Hit 300% funded. He funded in 4 hours. This is like classified levels of funding. Well, it used to be anyway. So a massive shout out to Rhymes with Comics #1 and Word Burglar. This obviously includes music that I've produced as well. So I'm invested in this, guys. And not only did he smash through all of the stretch goals, he managed to get the stretch goal for a tape cassette, friggin' physical tape cassette. One of my tracks is going to be on tape cassette. You do not understand how big a deal that is for me. I've got music. I've got CDs with my music on, right? I've got vinyl with music on, thanks to Word Burglar and Skeletron, and Word Burglar as well again. And I've got music now on tape cassette. I'm just in dream world. Like all of my little dreams have come true. Annie can fill in. Yes, pass. Actually, she can. But yes, Word Burglar, massive shout out, bud, and also vinyl stretch goal was reached as well, which means we're getting Rhymes with Comics #1 on this beautiful pink vinyl as well. Amazing. Absolutely frigging amazing. Thank you. Right, just wanted to shout out words for that one. Also, I've done unboxings for Super 7's goodies they sent me. Well, actually, they sent me the Flint and Destro Ultimates, which are great, by the way. That Flint one is, love it so much. And of course, I did order the Cold Slither box set, but I opened that as well. So you can check that unboxing on the channel. You can also, if you want to check sort of an unboxing that stops nearly, well, 3/4 of the way through, I unboxed Target Stalker and the claw as well. But unfortunately, I didn't finish the claw. It just kind of like broke at the end. But anyway, you can go check that out right now as well if you want. That's it for the show. Thank you very much for joining me, guys. And yeah, and thanks for sticking with the show as well, for, you know, obviously the failure of yesterday. I'm really happy that that we actually got this locked in. I can, if it could cut out now, and I wouldn't give a crap. We got to the end. I will see you on the next one, which will probably be a news burst of some description in the week. If not, it'll be the weekly next week. I will let you know what the situation is in terms of timings for that. And obviously my with the Patreon crew later today, I'll squeeze something in for you guys as well. So I'll see you then. Right, that's it from me. Thank you very much for joining me for another episode. Stay fresh, cheese bags, and as always, after 3, you know what to do. 1, 2, 3, full force. Laters. Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos. And as always, you can keep up with the show after listening by following on all of our social platforms, links in the description. And if you would like to contact the show, you can message us on any of those platforms with feedback or questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/The Full Force Podcast, or click the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full force.